What's up, guys? So, as you can tell, do something once again a little different. Trying different things out, but I think I'm definitely gonna incorporate this more often into the everyday feel and vibe and just kind of videos that I'm gonna be doing. So, if you guys remember, a while ago, the OGs of this channel, I started a series called Unfiltered, right? Which is pretty much I'll talk about just different things, right? It was more of a laid back kind of situation, more of a just hanging out, you and I. It was more like a conversational piece, which normally that's how it is. And I was listening to, a different pastor that, came to our church, and it was something, pretty interesting what he was talking about. But he talked about like la mesa, which in Spanish is the table, in English, I mean. And how, we come to the table and how a lot of things are done at a table. And I was like, you know what, that's pretty interesting. And he has a podcast called, in Spanish, is like, hablando en la mesa or something along those lines. For me, it was really interesting on how he looked at things and how, his perspective of things were of like how we need to come together more often. People are on their phones up more often, their computers are on tablets, are all super disconnected. He said that one of his, the great times for him is when the Wi-Fi went out. And the Wi-Fi went out, it forces his kids, to come together, sit at the dinner table and talk. And, I thought, hey, I want to really incorporate that. There's a book that I highly recommend any creative that is out there. It's called Steal Like an Artist, right? And the name's kind of catchy. I'll see if I can pop it up like right there. It's definitely a conversation that's worth having when you read that book, because when they say steal like an artist, obviously, you're not going to steal or plagiarize, but it's how you see other people, right? You take their ideas, you take, their inspirations, right? You make them your own, right? Everything's inspired by something else, right? We are inspired, by the certain rhythms, by certain, pieces of, art, things like that happen. But when we make it our own, right? When we take what we've seen, right? It's like if you learn something, someone teaches you a skill, take that skill, you refine to what works for you, keep on going, right? When we do those things, it really opens up and it broadens up our, our horizon on how we look on things. I say all this to say that portion of, Unfiltered will still be happening, but I'll be calling it now At the Table. It's a name, it's a work in progress, but I truly think that it will be one that you guys will enjoy. It'll be more of a laid back, kind of piece to things. When I have people, over, I have some guest speakers coming onto the normal, talk to the rods. This will be more like the laid back. Like we'll get to know them, like, like not so much like, oh, tell me your life story. It's more like, hey, how's the family doing? This is more of a relaxed kind of podcast. But with that, I obviously like to bring, something, different, something that's going to be beneficial to you guys while you guys watch this. And one of the quotes that I saw, probably on my phone, very unprofessional, I'm sorry, but it says, you may be on your own, but you are not alone, right? And when I thought about that, right, and I said before in a podcast, something similar to that we feel sometimes, right? Like we're walking alone, we're doing things by ourselves. But in reality, obviously, we have Christ. We have, we have an amazing support system. But there are people in your lives, yeah, that no matter how crazy the assignment might be, it doesn't matter how, crazy or how wild or how just out there the idea might be. It's like, you're doing it, you believe in it, I got your back, let's full send it. Those are the kind of people to have. But maybe, right, it's now your turn to be that person. Support that friend that's starting up a business. Support that friend that's starting up a new career. Support that friend that's maybe going through something and they feel like there's no way out. It is so important, right, to build a community, to build, people that you can surround yourself with at a table that not only will share in your vision, but will help you develop it. So when we push ourselves to be that friend, to be that person, to have that person hold us accountable, it gives us a different, how can I put it? You have skin in the game when you get to that point, right? When you get to that level of like, hey, listen, you and me are in this together, right? We're blood brothers, we're blood sisters, we're in whatever we're doing, we're in this together, right? We might not be family through blood, but we're definitely family through time. Like some of my very, 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 very good friends, they become family to me, right? Aunts and uncles to, to my future kids. These are people that have poured so much into my life and I've poured so much into their lives that we're just bound together, right? You have that circle. Obviously, you can be cool with every bunch of people, but you have that circle. Those people that It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You call them up like, hey, I'm going through some stuff. That's the kind of friend you want to have. Yeah. That's the kind of friend that doesn't matter how bad you might be thinking you're doing. They're going to find a positive piece to talk about you. Hey, you know what? Yeah, today sucked. Yeah, you know, you lost your job. You lost the contract. You lost whatever. But hey, you still have this, right? And they'll always find that piece of positivity, you know, in your life. That's the kind of friends you want to have. So that's why we want to like talk about. It's not going to be a very long one. And then another quote that I heard was one that I really want to, you know, take a little bit longer, not too much longer, but take a little bit longer of, you know, just really going into it. The weight is always active. Yeah. I'll say that one more time. The weight is always active. Keep pushing, keep moving, right? The Bible says faith without works is dead. You're having the faith to believe that in God's timing, things are going to happen for sure. That's great. That's awesome. But if you're not putting the work behind it, if you're not getting after, if you're not going and doing your due diligence, if you're not going and putting the effort, putting the reps and doing what you need to do, the Bible says right there very clear, faith without works is dead. You don't want to have a dead dream. You don't want to have a dead goal. You don't want to just let that, you know, fall to the wayside. So what are you doing? Get after it. You know, go for it. So when we do that, when we go and just, and I've said it multiple times before, so if you guys hear the same, you know, me repeating it a little more, you see the same like trend, is because there's a reason for that. Because I know that in my life, there have been times where I wanted to give up. There's been times where I wanted to be like, you know what? Hey, I've been waiting here for 4 or 5 months. I haven't heard an answer yet. Maybe it's not going to happen. Right? You start second guessing. You start doubting, hey, is this even right? Is this even the move I'm supposed to be making? You know, am I even in the right location? Am I even supposed to be here? Am I even qualified? Because there's all these questions you start asking in your head, right? And it makes it that much easier for you to fall off, for you to go and like, you know what? It ain't worth it, right? I've been waiting this long and you give up. I remember a story, and don't quote me 100% on the facts, but the general idea was there's a swimmer and they were great swimming. They were swimming and swimming, but then they hit this portion of fog and they're going and going and going. And mind you, phenomenal, almost Olympic style swimmer. And right at the very end, right, they're tied because they couldn't see the finish line. They gave up. But then at that point, you know, they pull the person out of the water, get into like the safety boats next to them. As they get in, they go in about 30, 40 feet and there's a wall. If there's, you know, that's the finish line they're supposed to get to. If they would have just kept on going, if they believed, you know what, I'm going, I'm pushing, hey, keep going, keep pushing. I know I'm almost there. Just one stroke at a time, one push at a time, one step at a time. If they would have done that, they'd have broken that record. Yeah, and that's like, I don't know if that was a made-up story or not, but the idea is simple. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean we aren't close. Oh, that's a that's a word right there. Just because you might not see it, just because you might not feel it, just because you might not sense it or just, you know, have a clear visual of how close the end might be, does not mean that you're not almost there. It can mean that you are about 50 feet away. You are a day away. You're a month away. You're a year away. You've already waited 6 years. What's one more year? You've already waited this long. Why not push even harder? Isn't your dream worth it? Isn't your dream worth you giving every last piece of you into this? It is, right? So then go for it. What are you waiting for? Keep pushing, keep striving. Yeah, because if you were to give up, you're going to regret that so much. You're like, oh, if I just push a little more. Oh, man, if I just kept on going a little bit more. If I had just kept on, you know, investing a little more of my time to that. If I'd have spent, you know, more time, you know, in the gym, you know, doing my reps, you know, basketball, football, you know, whatever, you know, maybe I could have hit, you know, gotten to that next step. Like maybe I could have made that team, right? I've heard a quote, and I like to quote a lot. That's why, you know, you hear me, like to, you know, hear myself. Like I have to hold myself, not hear myself. I like to hold myself accountable to these things because if I'm saying it, you know, to you, I want to say it to myself too, and I want to apply it to myself, is that the difference between someone good and someone great is that someone good will repeat the skill until they get it right. Someone great will repeat the skill until they can't get it wrong. Yeah? I'll say it one more time. To be good, you just do it until you get it right. To be great, you do it until you can't get it wrong. Yeah? You keep on improving your skills. And mind you, obviously, we're always learning. Let me not go and just say like, oh no, once you reach a certain point, you're great. No. Even the greats, you see Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, you know, Brady, they did it so many times. Like, yeah, they were phenomenal. They could do it in their sleep, but they kept on training. They kept on trying. They kept on getting better every single day. You know what? All right, last year I made, I don't know, 80%, you know, on the free throw line. You know what? I want to hit, you know, 85. I want to hit 90, whatever it might be. 80 is kind of low, but you know what I'm talking about. You want to go and push it so much and push it to such a point where you can't get it wrong. And if you get it wrong, oh, hey, you know what? That ball I just threw, it's going to be off because I twisted my wrist a little too much. Oh, you know what? That shot I took against the goal, I've had my foot a little too much on the outside. It's going to go, it's going to curve to the right, it's going to curve to the left. You do that so many times, so much repetition that you know. So now when the enemy comes to attack you and I'm like, oh man, you know what I do wrong? See, I've done it so many times right that there's a little thing, I messed up here. All right, you know what, enemy, you got me slipping on this part. Let me get better at that. Let me cover that up. Let me go and adjust myself, make the proper adjustments to get to that next point. Yeah, that's what all this is really going to be about. This series of, at the table, I'm going to have some friends with me. We're going to, have some good dialogues, more of a relaxed kind of setting. But what really intrigued me to doing is that a table could be anything. It could be a cardboard box. It could be a glass table like this. It could be, pieces of wood, on some rocks, whatever it might be. A table's a table. Right. The point is to break bread. The point is to have a conversation, is to have, is to have these conversations, especially these like ones that might not be so easy to talk about, might not be the easiest and the most, popular thing. Like, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that topic, about that subject. No, we're going to talk about it here. We're going to put it all on the table. We're going to put all the cards on the table. We're going to get through it. We're going to talk these things out. We're going to share ideas. We're going to create some memories. It's going to be a phenomenal time. And I would love to have you guys along with me. So if you guys were following the unfiltered one, this is the 2.0 version. This is at the table. So yeah, guys, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the people that are going to be coming along. I'm excited for the conversations we're going to be having. I'm more excited just to bring you guys along the journey with me. Yeah, I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these talks. I'll see you next week. Stay safe. And as always, make it the best day ever.